So today we're going to be doing mixed fabrics cold with quicker wash. So we're going to be doing a load of colours. So it doesn't really matter what I put in, to be fair, because it's a cold wash. So nothing gets too hard in a cold wash. So it is literally mixed fabrics. So again, for the second time today, we're using a cycle for what it's designed for. There's all kind of mixed fabrics in here. This is the most I've actually washed in a single load. That doesn't belong in there. Belongs in the next one. This is the most I've actually washed in a single cycle today. It's all been half load or quarter load so far. This is just actually that's about half load, so not much different, to be fair. So I'm going to be using some more of this washing powder, and I'll show you what it is. It's Co-op Tropical Flowers. So I've got some in there. Gonna do about that much into the machine. So that's roughly about 70 millilitres or so, which is enough for that. Put the washing balls in as well, and I'll put a colour catcher in, even though it probably doesn't need it. And before you ask about anything, the machine is going to go on a hot 60 wash after this with towels and stuff, so yeah, the machine's going to be fine. So there we go, there's the colour catcher in. So as a softener, I'm going to be using some Tropical Paradise. Use half of what's left, which I think is about 1.5 cupfuls, and whatever's left is going to go in the final load, which is towels. I'll pour a tiny bit back in. There we go. There we go, pretty much half and half. So, mixed fabrics. I think it's going to be much the same as sort of synthetics cold and quicker. Yeah, exactly. This is going to be exactly the same as the synthetics one. Yeah, I still got to do it because it's still a cycle combination, but I'm just warning you, it's probably going to be exactly the same as synthetics cold and quicker wash, because 47 minutes, synthetics was 47 minutes. Well, we got different clothes in there, so that's something. So let's start that and move the next load over to here. And I'm not going to entirely spoil one of the things. washers are very noisy when they're cold. I'm used to having them in there on 60-degree washes, because I'm sure I've said this enough times, but whenever I'm not filming, everything just goes in constant standard 60. Pretty much. The other cycle, I mean, it's different on this machine, because whenever I'm not filming, I use constant standard 60 and baby and toddler 60 as well. Because baby and toddler 60 is longer. Like, I think baby and toddler 60 is just short of 2.5 hours long, which is perfect for me. A bit longer than constant standard. But I'm not complaining about the constant standard on this. It's still 2 hours, which is still decent. The only disappointing thing is the longest possible wash on this machine is only 2:57. I would like long washes, which I can just leave on all day. But for example, the LG has a 6-hour wash only, and then an 8-hour wash and dry. And that's the kind of thing I like, when it has really long cycles. Like LG ranges from, we do intensive 60, which will clean the whole load in an hour, and it ranges up to 8 hours for washing and drying. I think the shortest time you can get away with washing and drying something is just short of maybe 3 hours, just short of, in the LG. Bearing in mind it's a washer dryer. If we were here, I could probably do it in, say using a similar cycle, we use time saver 60, that's roughly the same as intensive 60, give or take about 5 or 6 minutes. So full speed on both, no option on both either, and then we use the wash instead here. It'll probably take about, say for Rhoda's house, it'll probably take about just over 2 hours. In LG, I'll probably say just short of 3 hours. It's not bad, really. You expect a washer dryer to stay longer, because of all of the water they've got in the sump at the bottom, that's going to evaporate, and steam's going to go on the clothes. They can still bone dry your clothes. You can get them to do it really fast, if you know what you're doing. Yeah, you've heard me say that too many times now. In case you can't tell, I'm very fond of washer dryers. I'm just looking at a Bosch at the moment, on someone's Instagram post, and I'm assuming that's Cotton 60 that they've got on. I don't know how to set on Bosch's if there's any options or not, but by the way, AG fan 008, free shout out. If you look up here, I'm trying to get to focus. It's 3 hours 35 minutes for 1600 RPM, and I assume that's costing 60 because it's 1600 RPM. I may be mistaken. I can't actually see where the program selector knob is pointing at. But 3.5 hours, that's a really good length actually. I'd love a cycle with that length. So that is one good thing about Bosch so far. I'm kind of indifferent towards Bosch at this point. I used to not like them. Now I'm just indifferent about them. Like, I'll have one and see what it's like. But until then, I'm just in... I can't make a decision, obviously, until I've owned one, which is what I stand by. Like, I can have a preference of not liking how it looks, for example, and how it acts, which is what I always used to have with Bosch, but now I just feel indifferent. Funny thing is, it's a bit like LG as well. When Mum and I first got the LG, I really hated it. I was like, oh my god, what have you done? But now I really love LG. It's like one of my favourite brands now. And that machine is... I don't think I'd go as far to say that LG is my favourite machine ever. It's definitely the best performance machine I've ever had. It's got outstanding that no other machine I've seen can get out. That's just ones that I've used, by the way, not in the world. I know Bosch's will get that state now because they got all the special features and stuff. But I still find it really impressive that LG, with none of those features at all, it doesn't have any like really high-tech features like where you can select stained master or glass stain or coffee stain, for example. It doesn't have any of that. I just threw it on a cost down to 60 with a little. To be fair, they were stain treated, 2 of them, but even the one that wasn't stain treated came out extremely well. But to do that without even having intensive selected, I really do find that impressive. And I won't lie, it is hard to impress me when it comes to washing machines because there's always something that I don't like about certain machines. For example, this one, I don't like this anti-suds phase. I don't know why it even exists. And for the LG, what would I say I don't like about it? Well, a few things. I don't like how on the top it doesn't tell you what temperature it's going to reach. But I do suppose that 70 isn't one of the options listed, so that's probably why. But it could at least tell you the spin speed it's going to reach. If it reaches 800, that's one of the options. Also, I don't understand the demo mode infinitely looping cycles. Like, I don't see the point of that. I mean, not necessarily a bad thing for me, but the dry box is extremely noisy in the LG. It always has been. Nothing wrong with the machine, it's just a noisy dryer box. I like that personally, I really like that noise. I know some people would get it thinking it's quiet, wait all the way through the drying cycle and be like, oh my god, this is the quietest machine ever. As soon as the drying cycle starts, they'd be like, oh my god, no, I lied, it's the noisiest machine ever. Which, to be fair, they wouldn't be wrong. It would be definitely the noisiest washer dryer I've ever heard, on the drying cycle at least. But, you know, Now I have seen some of these new hot points. If you're not sure which ones I'm on about, let me just quickly find a picture. And then these new hot points are really good looking actually. Hot point. As I search hot point, see what comes up. That's a website, and maybe they have some information on there. There's washing machines. They've started showing the exact spin speed. Like, it's no longer 1400, it's now 1351. That's actually quite interesting. They all seem to reach 1351. The hot point not make 1200 RPM machines anymore. So that's 1551. That's 1351. There's no 1151s. Well, I'm guessing that they don't make 1200 RPM machines anymore, which is disappointing. It looks like on Google it's not where I'm going to find it. Let's go to the Hot Point official page, shall we? So those ones, the new hot points, I think they look really cool. I don't like the black heat shield though. It's got a nice average wash time. If you look down here, average wash time of 4 hours. So that's quite nice, especially for me. It doesn't use much water, 45 litres for a 10 kg machine. Watch the washing machine spin, shall we? There we go. Very unbalanced. first rinse. This is so far, like, from what I've seen of the synthetics one, this is identical to it. So mixed fabrics coloured plus quick wash is identical to synthetics coloured plus quick wash in every way. Does that mean that the synthetic cycle and the mixed fabric cycle are identical? If they're identical, what's the point in having them as separate programs? I don't understand that. I'm going to have a look at that, at all the timings. Off camera, I'm going to look at all the timings. And we're going to find out whether they really are identical. Can you imagine having two identical cycles on the same machine? Actually, my old hot one kind of did that. Colour fast cotton, non-colour fast cotton. Super wash wasn't much different. Just use a bit more water and longer main wash. White cotton wasn't too much different either. That just heated to 95 minutes. I never really saw enough of that on the hot point to remember much of it. I know the cycle pattern of the main two programs that I used, which is hand wash wool and super wash. So I know those cycle patterns. What program I'm supposed to be doing the towel, so I'm going to go and quickly have a look. training for the second intro. Softener rinse. I don't even remember if I did softener or not, but bit too late to check now. I've been mentioning the story. Let's have a look, shall we? Right, I need to get my earphones. That's been very, very slow. When we use washing machines at home, they use barely any electricity. I've just checked the electricity meter. This is the fourth cycle I've done, and it'll be the fourth time it's done a full 1200 RPM spin as well after this. And the electricity meter's barely gone up. So it really doesn't use anything at all. It's the heater that uses everything pretty much. If you use it as a spin dryer, go ahead, go crazy. But they're not going to use that much. I can tell you from experience. Right, find this one. I'll check it again. Yeah, 5 loads, it's only gone up by about 7 pence usage. So it's just over 1 penny per cycle if you use cold. That's not really efficient using cold to clean clothes, but for example refreshing clothes, you can do that on cold no problem. It will only cost you like a penny. That's actually pretty cool. Considering spinning is what I mostly use the washing machine for anyway. I know I don't really need anything now. I bet you if I go upstairs now, the machine's going to jump or something and I'm going to miss it. It doesn't look as unbalanced as I was expecting it to be. I thought just because I leave the room it's going to jump or something, but it hasn't. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a mixture of both. There we are. So, and turn it off. Yeah, they're alright. I mean, they're still quite damp, but obviously what you'd expect from an 800 RPM spin. So, not bad performance at all. They smell nice as well, so looks like I did remember to add the softener, which is good. So, I'm going to give those a respin. I'm not going to record it. Yeah, this is almost identical length to the last video, and I wonder why that might be. Those two cycles were identical. Literally, there was no difference between the two cycles. They were both 47 minutes long. They both did 2 rinses. They both spun at exactly the same timings. They both had the exact same wash patterns and water levels. You know, I don't see the point of having 2 identical cycles on a machine, basically. Synthetics and mixed fabrics, there's no difference between them. So that will be something I'm pointing out in my review later. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.